Hello, class. So it is Tuesday, January 21st. You just got out of a 3-day weekend, and your current event speeches happened this week. So if you take a look at the schedule right here, this is the only screencast that I'm going to be doing for this whole week because basically your week is set up fairly simply. First of all, today you're going to do a practice day for your current event speeches. So you should pair up with someone else in the class and you're going to practice your speech for them twice. The first time, your partner is going to listen to you and time you and give you kind of like verbal feedback when you're done with your speech. You should each do that practice first, the time, speech, and the verbal feedback, what worked, what didn't work, what they need to improve on. Then the second time, Mr. Freiberger is going to be giving you a rubric, the grading sheet that you're going to be using, that he's going to be using when he's grading your speeches for the rest of the week. The second time that you go through your speech with your partner, I want your partner to fill in the rubric where they think you should be as far as your grade is concerned in each of those different categories. And then I want you to talk about it when you're done. This grade isn't going to count towards your grade, so don't worry about like if you don't want to give your partner a lower grade. That's not going to mean anything. It's just to give you practice understanding what the rubric says and understanding how the different speeches will be graded. When you're done with those 2 practice rounds, each of you, then you come back into the classroom and Mr. Freiberger is going to collect the rubrics from you and answer any questions that you have about the speeches, which are starting tomorrow. Okay, so then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week, because I think there's between 10 and 12 of you in the class, Mr. Freiberger is going to have 3 or 4 of you present your speeches each day. At the end of your speech, the class will be open for like a 5 to 10 minute, depends on how long the speeches are, probably about 10 minutes, discussion, where you'll be graded on your discussion of the content of the speech. So you can ask the speech giver questions, like more details about the topic of their speech. Person who's giving the speech, you're not going to be graded on your answers to this, but I want there to be a class discussion about whatever the topic is. So for example, if your speech is about the straw ban, I know I keep going back to that, but if it's about the California straw ban, then you can ask some questions about like how possible is this to happen in the state of Illinois? Have you looked into any other states that have been doing this straw ban, etc., etc.? Those like basic information questions. But then I also want you as a class to kind of state how you feel about it as individuals. So however many of you are not presenting your speech, the person who's not presenting the speech doesn't have to engage in that discussion because you've already shared your side. But everybody else should kind of say how they feel about it and where they stand on the straw ban or whatever the topic of the speech is and why they feel that way. So again, you'll be graded on your discussion if you are sitting listening to the speeches. And that is quality, quantity, and how well you kind of listen to each other. Sounds good? So that's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Really quickly, on Friday, you will have a homework assignment. You should have a book, Basic Debate, that you should have picked up from the book room. If you haven't, then Mr. Freiberger will try to find some time within Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday when you have time at the end of speeches, and will contact the librarian, Linnea Springsteen, to let her know that you need to pick up a copy of that book. Because over the weekend, you need to read 2 chapters in the book. Chapter 1 is just a basic introduction to debate, and then Chapter 6 is about the first kind of debate, like the roles that you have within the debate. So read both of those chapters for Monday, and then answer any kind of questions that are at the end of the chapter. I think there's like 5 questions at the end of each chapter. So you have 10 questions answered on a separate piece of paper that you're going to be turning into Mr. Freiberger on Monday. All right. I hope that works, and let me know if you have any questions, or let Mr. Freiberger know if you have any questions. Have a great week, and do a great job on your speeches.